In our world today, there's no shortage of people who can't wait to tell us the 12 easy steps that will solve all our problems. Some list of superfoods that if you just eat these every day, the pounds will magically melt away from you. And if we follow these 6 exercises, muscle mass will build up almost by itself. If we follow these easy tricks, we can learn a language in 24 hours. And it's the same with cleaning red wine spills, succeeding at job interviews, and all sorts of other things that we can just follow these steps easily if we buy their book or read their article while watching some ads or whatever it is that they're trying to sell us. There is always someone ready to give us a list of things we can do and buy, which will make everything better as long as we follow a set of rules they set out for us. And I think that the Pharisees had a similar approach to their relationship with God. They had a long list of things that they believed that everyone had to do, rules that they had to follow. And if someone did follow all these rules, that means that was a good person. And if they failed to follow even one of them, that means that they were a bad person. And I think that's where the question about the most important commandment came from. They were saying, which of this long list of rules is the first one that we have to drill into people's heads? And Jesus doesn't play at this game. He tells us that everything is centered on a twofold commandment of love. Do we love God with all our heart, soul, and mind? Do we love our neighbor as ourselves? If we can honestly answer yes to these 2 questions, then everything else will fall into place. He doesn't give us a list of things that everyone has to do to live life in exactly the right way. Rather, he gives a simple rule that needs to be lived out in a way that's appropriate to that particular person, trying to develop their specific relationship with God. It makes it clear that all the things that God asks of us, the entirety of God's law, isn't a set of rules to be followed in a sort of cookie-cutter mold of what a holy person should be. Rather, it's a law that's meant to guide our actions as we discover how to best live our lives as the unique person that we are. And we can see that clearly in the persons of the saints. Each saint is unique, living out a personal call from God that is appropriate to their personality, their place, and the needs of their time. What they have in common, however, is that love, that desire to live out God's will and willingness to respond to the needs of those around them. St. Bernard, who we celebrate today, is a great example of this. He was born into wealth and privilege, but gave them up out of a love of God and began to live an austere life of prayer and work. And in that, he was very willing to respond to all the challenges of his day, founding many monasteries, writing many books, and journeying far and wide to preach to people. And doing all these things, he was guided by that search for what God was calling on him next. How could he live out his love for the Lord? And how could he see Jesus' face in every person that he met? And that is the lesson for us, I think. We too must make sure that we're never trying to find some sort of trick or technique that will let us meet some image of holiness in just 12 easy steps at $5.95 a month. Rather, we need to keep turning to God in prayer, asking Him to reveal to us who we truly are and how we can live out our love for God and neighbor in our lives, in our reality, in our time. Jesus is not asking us to follow some arbitrary rules. He's not giving us a list of steps that everyone has to do in the same way, in the same time, to guarantee some sort of good result. He's asking us to open our hearts to God's love, and in being truly loved by the Lord, to come to love Him with all our hearts, love the people He created and put in our lives as we love ourselves. And in doing that, to let the way that we speak, think, and act be shaped by a desire for the good of the people around us and the desire to be with God always.